All right, so let's get right into it. When most people look at the blockchain, they just see, well, a bunch of confusing code and numbers, right? But what if I told you that it's actually a massive library of hidden stories? That's what we're doing today. We're going to put on our detective hats and learn how to actually read them. And this quote, it really gets right to the heart of what we're talking about. See, the blockchain isn't just some boring ledger of transactions. Nope. It's a living, breathing record of human behavior, of strategy, and even intent. Our job? It's to learn its language. So think about it like this. For the untrained eye, the blockchain is just chaos, an endless, super confusing stream of what looks like gibberish. But for a trained analyst, and hey, that's what you're about to become, it's a map, a treasure map almost. It shows you who moved money, where it went, and the real secret sauce, it gives you clues as to why. Okay, let's officially begin our investigation. Your journey from just watching to becoming a real on-chain detective, well, it starts right now. Every good detective needs their toolkit, right? So let's start with the fundamentals. We're going to learn the language of the blockchain's most important clues. First up, we've got the wallet address. The easiest way to think about this is like a digital bank account number. It's totally unique, and it's how you send and receive assets. But here's the key difference. Your real-world identity isn't directly attached to it. That's why we say it's pseudonymous. The wallet itself is out in the open for everyone to see, but who owns it? That's the mystery. Next in our toolkit is the transaction hash. Now, this is your irrefutable proof. It's basically a unique digital receipt for every single transaction. It proves who sent what, to where, and exactly when. In any investigation, this is your hard evidence, the smoking gun, if you will. And finally, to tie it all together, we have the block. So all those transactions we just talked about, they get bundled together into these blocks. Then each block gets added to the chain, one after the other, in perfect chronological order. It's a pretty brilliant system because it creates this permanent, unchangeable, time-stamped history. It's like a financial record book where you can never, ever tear out a page. Okay, so we know what the evidence looks like. Now it's time to profile the suspects. See, in this on-chain world, different wallets have their own unique behavioral fingerprints. And learning how to spot them? Yeah, that's absolutely crucial. So let's start with two of the biggest players you'll see out there, retail versus whales. Now, retail wallets, they usually belong to everyday individual investors. We're talking smaller balances, and let's be honest, sometimes the trades are a bit emotionally driven. But then you have the whales. These wallets hold absolutely enormous amounts of assets, and their moves are anything but emotional. They're strategic, they're calculated, and they can literally move the entire market. And just to give you a sense of scale here, a wallet holding over 1,000 Bitcoin is what we'd typically call a whale. Think about that. A single transfer from just one of these wallets can send massive ripples across the entire market, and that is exactly why everyone watches them so closely. All right, so theory is great and all, but let's see how this actually works in the real world. Time to get our hands dirty. We're going to follow the money and track a whale in action to see what their moves can really tell us. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. Just watch this sequence of events play out. First, a massive wallet that's been dormant, just sitting there, holding, let's say, 5,000 Bitcoin, suddenly wakes up. Step 2, it moves all those funds to a wallet that we know belongs to an exchange. Now, why would it do that? Well, because assets on an exchange are way easier to sell. That single move instantly triggers alerts all over the market, and as a result, you guessed it, volatility often spikes as traders start bracing for a potentially huge sell-off. And this right here brings us to one of the most important rules in on-chain analysis. The big money, the whales, they often make their moves before you see any big price reaction. Their actions on the blockchain are like a potential sneak peek of what's about to happen. So what's the real edge here? What's the advantage of thinking like an on-chain detective? Why does this skill actually matter? Well, this is your brand new analytical toolkit. Instead of just reacting to price changes after they happen, you can start to anticipate them. You can spot risk by seeing huge outflows early. You can find opportunities by tracking the smart money and seeing where whales are accumulating. You can even protect yourself by identifying those nasty rug pulls and scam wallets before they strike. It really elevates you from just reading a price chart to reading the market's actual underlying sentiment. Look, if there's just one thing you take away from all this, let it be this right here. A price chart, that's your rearview mirror. It only shows you what's already happened. But on-chain analysis, that's like popping the hood of the car. It helps you understand the engine, the mechanics, the why behind all the market's movements. At the end of the day, the blockchain is a permanent record. It remembers every single action, every decision, every strategy forever. It never forgets. So the only question left for you is, with these new detective skills, what will you learn to hear it say?